Hi everyone, welcome back to the Ministry of Guitar. I'm Utkarsh. And today for you, we have the very exciting, very deceptive Tremonti Baritone Hybrid. Alright, so let's get started. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to take you through the history of this particular guitar model, how I got this particular piece. We're going to run through the specs, we're going to run through a few sounds, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. And as always, if you want an even more detailed description or review of the guitar, you can always go to the Ministry of Guitar website up here, and there you have a full article with photos and the stuff. So what is a Tremonti Baritone Hybrid, which is what this guitar is described as? The Tremonti, just to start there, is an interesting model by PRS. It's their single cut, but it's not really a typical single cut. It's more of a super Les Paul because it's to Mark Tremonti specs of Alter Bridge and Creed before that. So it's got a skinny neck, it's got really high output in the bridge humbucker, and it's got a tremolo, so it's like a super Les Paul. The Tremonti Baritone Hybrid, and we'll get into why it's called that, was really a result of Mark's experimentation with lower tunings. And of course, a hardtail is kind of suitable when you're kind of mixing around tunings. It's also got a longer scale length, which is 25.5. And this guitar comes standard tuned to C sharp standard, but it can take much more. So the reason why it was a bit controversial is PRS called it a baritone or a baritone hybrid, but people laughed because 25.5 in scale is really the same scale length as a Strat or a Tele, so how is it a baritone? But there's something more to the guitar. And that's really what I'm going to talk about, how the specs of this guitar, beyond the scale length, make it not only very suitable for down tuning. Surprisingly, there are a few other things beyond scale length that make it suitable. Also give it a very unique place in the PRS range. Okay, so how did I get this guitar? So the Baritone Hybrid Tremonti was launched as an artist pack only. Artist pack is like a higher grade between regular PRS USA and private stock. So it was launched as an artist pack only run in 2016-2017. It came in 5 colors, but this was not one of them. So sometime last year, I was looking around to see if there were still any of these still floating around the ecosystem, and particularly if there was any new ones floating around the ecosystem. And I came across this particular guitar in Heritage Cherry Sunburst, really, of all things, sitting in Island Music Company in the USA. And I had to have it for 2 reasons. One is I was looking for a Tremonti hybrid, baritone hybrid, and secondly, it was just such a sleeper color for what is a down-tuned, almost a very metal kind of guitar, so to speak. Because Cherry Sunburst is really, as vintage as it gets. So the duality of this particular piece struck out to me. Now, let's get a little bit into the specs of the guitar, and this is where I'm also going to describe for you why this is very uniquely spec'd for a PRS, and it's quite suited for down tuning. It boils down to a few things. So its scale length, 25.5 inch. This is quite critical because in the PRS core lineup, which is the USA built models, you don't get a 25.5 inch scale regularly. You got it with 2 limited runs. You got it with the Mark Holcomb run, which is quite rare and quite sought after, and I have a review of that on my channel as well over here. And then you got it on this guitar. So 25.5 inch scale is of course better for higher tension at standard tuning or for tuning down all the way to say B standard or even drop A. That's one thing. Second thing about this guitar is, and which any of you who have experimented with down tuning with regular guitars would know, is the width of the nut slot and the saddle slot and the tuner post as well. Typically, nothing larger than a 54 string can go through a standard slot. So if you're trying to get, even if your guitar has a 25.5 inch scale length, you struggle to get a thick enough string to get the tension you want at a B standard or a drop A without having to modify the guitar either to widen the saddles or widen the nut or to widen the tuner post. This guitar does not have that problem because this guitar comes stock with 68 to 13s. So you have all the space in the world, which means you can put whatever size you want. I would honestly say 68 that the guitar came stock with were really too thick. You don't need that much at C sharp standard. I don't think you even need that much at B standard, to be very honest. But hey, you have the option to have thicker strings. So that's one thing that makes it uniquely well suited. The other thing that people don't realize, because they look at it and they see a single cut, is, oh, this must be a bit of a beast to play. It really isn't, because A, it's artist pack, which means really light woods. This is lighter than all my Les Pauls. Secondly, because it's a Tremonti, it has a Tremonti neck profile, which is called also like a pattern thin neck profile. So, and of course this guitar has a gorgeous neck, we'll get into that in a second, but which means it is a shredder's guitar, right? It's a relatively narrow neck. It's no Ibanez Wizard, but you can be running up and down this very easily. And then finally, just the hardtail bridge, this beautiful machined hardtail bridge that stop tail that PRS comes with, is really satisfying to rest your palm and do all that chugga palm muting. So that makes it quite suitable for metal and just inherently the design of the guitar. We haven't even gotten to pickups yet. So, for those who are looking for a PRS for metal, the Holcomb is really the obvious choice, and it's really one of the reasons why Holcombs in the used market have gone up like crazy is because they have such unique specs, 25.5 in scale, hardtail, and they're very difficult to find. But I would actually argue that this guitar does all of that. And the main difference between this and the Holcomb would be, of course, the shape. Traditional PRS double cut was a single cut, and the fretboard radius, because this has a traditional PRS 10-inch radius, whereas the Holcomb has I think it's a 16 or a 20 inch. It's really flat. That is a matter of personal preference. So I honestly think if you are one of those people who's looking for that Holcomb and you're like, what the hell, these things are so expensive now, or I can't get one in the condition I want, have a look at these. These could be quite suitable for you. Okay, now let's look at the specs more traditionally. So this is a regular PRS core model, which means what? It means the stunning maple top, mahogany body. It means rosewood fretboard with the beautiful rosewood veneer with the Paul Reed logo on it. This one has, as I mentioned, a maple neck. This is an artist pack, so it has the beautiful figured maple neck. Everything is in gloss finish. Electronics wise, you have very low output 5815, which is like a PAF humbucker over here. And then you have a Tremonti, which is a ceramic bridge pickup, which is super hot. And you will see when I do the sound samples, you'll see a huge volume difference between these two. You have the PRS top tail bridge with the brass inserts for the saddles. You can see those little brass colored items over there. Helps with sustain the vibration and all that good stuff. And electronics wise, control layout, it's a Les Paul like with a 3-way switch, as well as a volume and tone for both the neck and the bridge pickup. The interesting thing is it's slightly different from a Les Paul. So this is neck volume, neck tone, bridge volume, bridge tone. In the Les Paul it will be neck volume, neck tone, bridge volume, bridge tone. So it's inverted. That's so that's really the specs in a nutshell. So it's like a Tremonti, similar to a regular Tremonti, except for the larger scale neck, the stop tail, though the stop tail is an option on regular Tremontis, and of course the ability to fit thicker strings in it. Okay, so those were the specs. Let's take you through some of the sounds, and I'm going to run you through a little bit of my perspective. I'll be running it through my beautiful, if you can see behind me, okay, I need to figure this out, Hughes and Kettner TriAmp Mark II Alex Lifeson. Pride of my, well, I don't have an amp collection really, but probably the best amp I've ever played, and just an honor to have it. All right, let's check out the sounds. So let's start with the neck pickup. So very, very PAFE, middle. The bridge is where you see it getting a little heavy. See, it wasn't even on full volume. Full volume now for the bridge pickup. So it's already breaking it up versus, say, the neck pickup. Okay, let's go to amp 2, which is more AC30 in character. So this suits this because with the PAF, the brightness of the amp 2 is good, the AC30 style. Middle position. You get that nice little bit of that slight thinness, but in a good way. Suits this bright sound. Bridge. Yeah. That's not bad at all. Okay, amp 2 is more classic rock. So I think this is like a Marshall, I think. There are two different kinds of amps too, channel A and channel B. Let's try this out. Like all PRSs, this cleans up really well. So with this kind of edge of distortion sound, you can get both a clean sound and you can also, just with the way you use it and with this particular bridge pickup, it can be pretty heavy. And middles pickup. Okay, let's go to channel B, more of the hard rock sounds. Let's see how this will sound. You've got a lot of bite in that bridge pickup, so you get an extra gain even with the mid gains, or not a low gain sound like this one. Neck, you will be in perfect Les Paul territory. Oops, that was a bad pen. Okay, so we're gonna move over to high gain territory, channel A of amp 3 of the Mark II. Let's start with the bridge pickup, shall we? Okay, neck pickup. Should we get some of that sweet shredding sound? Middle position. Let's try the other amp with the same sound. This is even higher gain, I think, very high. With the Tremonti pickup and this guitar is, I think you do need a tube screamer or a mid boost, otherwise it can be a little bit too heavy in terms of the sound. So you need a little bit of a like a nice. I'm gonna do a little bit over here. So I just switched on mid booster from my Strymon OB-1. I think it's called OB-1. Let's see how it sounds now. After I switch it on. Alright, so that's an overview of the sounds of this Tremonti Baritone hybrid. So I think you got a flavor for the sound. So I'm going to summarize a little bit my impression of this guitar. Who is it for? What should you look out for if you're looking to buy it, and whether you should buy it to begin with. I really think this is an amazing guitar. It is the PRS for chugging along with the Holcomb. I would really say the Holcomb's 20-inch fretboard radius, or whatever the radius is, makes it not suitable for everyone. This is much more traditional feeling in that sense, unless you're really brought up on all the very boutique, super shreddy guitars. So the other advantage of this is that these are rare. It's in that good Goldilocks zone. It is relatively rare because it was a limited run. But it is not overhyped to the point that you can't get anything at a decent price. So there are several of these running around. They all are beautiful. All of them are artist packs with beautiful maple neck. You can get it in like black charcoal. You can get it in like this green. You can get it in whale blue. You can get it in cherry. So you have a lot of, the regular dark red kind of a thing. So you have all the choice in the world. So this is really for that rhythm player, the metal rhythm palm muting guy. This is really the PRS for you. I would say it's more suitable than a custom 24 regular, because that with the, not everyone likes to have a tremolo for moving around with tunings, dropping, larger scale length, and this high output pickup is more metal than say the regular 8515 which you would get in a custom 24. So if you are a metal rhythm player, this along with the Holcomb is probably the PRS for you. Other things to consider, do note, which I mentioned earlier as well, the volume difference between the bridge and the neck pickup. I like it because for me, I don't have to mess around with my amp and my pedals too much to just get a backed off tone for like vocals and then have the full balls out rhythm, or even a lead on top of that with the bridge pickup. So it works, but do note that the bridge pickup is very high output with the bite. It's not for everyone. You will never get a pure clean tone out of this. Not necessarily too bad for me. I'm okay with it, but you have to note that. That will really be the biggest, most polarizing thing about this guitar, or any Tremonti in general. Should you buy it? Yes, absolutely. If you do play, any form of progressive or any form of rhythm, heavy, higher gain rhythm playing, and you can get your hands on one of these, it's really good. Don't be put off by the single cut shape. I love single cuts because I'm a single cut guy, but even then, it's a relatively ergonomic guitar. Unlike Les Pauls, it has it has a bit of the carve at the back, a belly cut or whatever. Don't keep a belly though. But anyway, just a thought. So it's really, I like this guitar a lot. I'm not likely to sell this guitar in particular, so I don't think you'll get one in this color, but if you can find one, pick it up. And if you are really, and I keep saying this, I'm saying this for the third time, if you're really thinking about getting a Holcomb, but there's just no way to get one in the right condition or whatever, just pick one of these up. You'll get everything that you want with a Holcomb. And if you really want coil splits or whatever, it's just a simple job to just, both of these pickups are splittable. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time with more reviews. Take care.